Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement. Good day, viewers, and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Phillip Sydney. In today's program, I have with me three distinguished gentlemen who have been in the cooperative movements for years in St. Lucia. And it is timely because the Department of Cooperative is now reattached to the Ministry of Agriculture. Of course, that place is home for that department. To my immediate right is Mr. Ricky McDoom, who is the president of the Groseley Fishermen Cooperative Society. To his right is Mr. Eusebe Lawrence, who is a former commissioner of police, and of course now he is the president of the Eusebe Fishermen's Cooperative Society. To his right is Mr. Julian Alexis, who is the manager of the Eusebe Fishermen Cooperative Society. Welcome, gentlemen, to the program.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you, Mr.
McDoom, I know you've been involved with the fishermen in Groseley for a while. How long has been this society been in operation?
Well, the society started way back in 1978. Okay. It lasted for a while, and it went dormant for a number of years until it was revamped. Okay. Sometime in 1998, thereabout, where it was restructured and re-registered. Some of the older members that actually started the cooperative at that time came on board, and they were the shares were passed on to the new body. Some of the members that started the initial society did not come on board, and so we have a membership of about, I would say, pretty close to about 80, give and take, because I think we've had a couple deceased since our last count of tabulation, and that needs to be looked at. But we have been in operation basically as this new society since 1998. So one would say this year is going to be 16 years since we restarted. But it existed. There was a cooperative before, a society before that existed, and it's actually the members from the old society that came back and reformed the new society.
Mr. Lawrence, could you give us a little brief history, a background into your Eusebe?
Social Cooperative Society was formed in 1972, registered in 1972. And in 2003, we moved over to property provided for us through the government of Japan and over to the government of St. Lucia. And we have been operating there.
How many members do you have?
We have a membership of 97. 97.
Okay.
And
you're gelling well? Everything seems to be going well at this point?
Everything seems to be going well, but there are problems, as one would understand.
Of course. We'll come back to that. Okay. Mr. Alexis, could you give us a brief background?
Yeah, the Eusebe Fishermen's Corp was registered on the 24th of January 1977. We have a membership of 107 members right now, and we provide fishing inputs to our members, gas, oil hooks, and different tackles. Also, there's benefit for members. We operate a deaf fund. We provide patronage fund at the end of, if there's a profit at the end of the year. But over the last 3 years, fishing has not been the best. Okay. For example, you see, we stayed 3 years without flying fish, and this year we saw a change in that. So I don't know whether that's a change that will continue. So that's how it is for now.
Mr. McDoom, since you're revamped and you're back now, What are the challenges that you are facing, Rosalie?
There are numerous challenges. When you look at our location, for example, we are at the very entrance of the Rodney Bay Marina. There are advantages to that, of course, in terms of the commercial value of our service, etc. But they do not have enough berthing space for our craft. So most of the fishermen are not able to secure the vessel properly as a result of the limited space being located at the very entrance of the marina. And then you can't really go out and even more further out. Our berthing facility is very small. We are also catering in terms of the service that we provide to the yachting sector and the small craft pleasure boat sector as well. They are actually buying fuel from us and some of the major properties on island. We do have a situation where that area for fueling is also the landing area. And that is posing sometimes challenging in terms of when a boat comes in to get fuel and a boat is offloading or preparing to load up to go to sea.
But what are the challenges in terms of, I mean, you're thinking of relocating the area?
They don't have, Grozile really do not have space. I think a number of things can happen, and sometime last year we sat down and we prepared a proposal to government, and we tried at that time to tie the proposal with regards to the Sandals over the water project at Pigeon Island that you probably would know about.
Yes.
And we were looking at making some changes and relocation of some of the building on the facility and how we could reposition the slipway, for example, and creating a little bit more space. Also, the area is the compound itself. We don't have a conference room, which is missing, and that is very important because we are not able to host any meetings. As a result, most of the time when we have general meeting or even the executive meeting, it has to move to another location in Grozile. So these are some of the location, some of the problems that we encounter. We cannot look at a total relocation of the compound of the facility because of the value of real estate in the Grozile area, and practically there isn't any. You're competing with the tourism sector in the north of the island. So that is, but a lot can be done. Currently we are in the process of putting together a plan with our architect to see how best we can source funding to do some of the work that is required to make it easier and better for the boat owners. Storeroom, locker room spaces are also a premium. Most of our members do not have, the boat owners do not have locker space because the very few that we have is already taken. So any new fishers coming in are not able to get. So these are the pressing issues currently that's logistic, in terms of logistic. But we have other issues as well in terms of the way the general membership view the cooperative and the benefit that is derived from being a member of the cooperative. The lack of education or perhaps understanding of how important it is to come together as a group and to operate. The value of the service that is being offered to them as well is sometimes very much misunderstood or understood rather.
You're watching Agriculture on the Move. We are due for a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Agriculture, one of the pillars of St. Lucia's economic development, creating opportunities for earning a living for the farmer and his family. From the field to the kitchen, the St. Lucians are finding creative ways of using fruits, crops, and vegetables grown locally. From local seasonings to special brews, from aquaculture to the cultivation of local herbs for export. A strong agriculture industry strengthens the economy. The country needs your support, so buy local.
Welcome back to the program. Mr. Lawrence, I know Schwarzschild has a few challenges, some major ones too. Can you give us a little insight into your challenges on there?
The challenges in respect of our getting together is the question of education, the membership. There is a need for meetings with the members which cannot be taken on with ease.
But why is that?
Because the time people are out at sea and so forth and so.
So they go out every day, every day,
Yes,
including Sundays, holidays.
Fishing is a 24-hour.
No.
And
It's when the season.
there is also the question of the pond, or which for some time now has been a hindrance, so to speak. It ought to assist us. It was meant to assist us, but it's a hindrance. And that even now there's something like what we call an excavator, which is supposed to assist us with the silting and whatnot. But then what happens? Sometimes it is on and sometimes it's not on at all. As a result, the fishermen and the craft likely to be damaged and whatnot, so they don't go out and come in.
So what's
with ease.
the way forward for this problem? Because that's a major problem. What's the way forward?
The way forward for that is for the pond to be realigned somehow or the other. They mentioned some scientists or otherwise would have been doing some survey. And to now, to this date, I have not seen anything about this survey as a result of whatever. If it was done, I don't know. Then we have another problem of our finances and so forth. The fishermen has gone to trouble in getting the money from the fishermen
Fish market.
fish market.
Marketing.
I don't want to appear to be washing dirty linen in public, but then it has to be
Yes,
that way.
yes.
Right. There's another problem. Another problem is that since 1972 there was a Fishermen Assistance Act, and it would appear to me that some officials don't want to appreciate that. We have about some $12,000 lying somewhere by way of a check being delivered to an officer, an official of the Customs Department, talking about VAT and otherwise. $12,000 or so lying, which should have been with us to do something. Now,
So are you all getting that money? Or
we are trying to get that. We have.
So what's holding that back?
Well, they holding it back would know what is holding it back. But I know for a fact, if I were to say it properly, is that they have no real interest or commitment to the whereabout of the fishes.
Okay.
And it is an economic situation,
Okay.
import and export.
That's right. Mr. Alexis,
Well, one of the biggest challenges facing the Soufriere fishermen right now is a debt problem. Over the last 3 years, our debt has risen very high.
why is
And
that?
due to the lack of fishing, gas is very expensive. In order to go out fishing, sometimes you need $500-600 worth of petrol to go out. And sometimes you go out there and come back with nothing. The following day, a boat comes in with fish, the fisherman wants to go back again. You don't have the money, you try to get gas on credit. It creates a problem.
It's a receivable problem.
Yeah. So, but right now, we are trying to put some policies in place to try and get these monies back. But something else again, we are selling to some of the hotels in Soufriere on a 40-day credit. So if you buy gas on January, at the end of the 31st, you would get paid maybe by tomorrow 28th of February. So it ties up the capital in trying to replenish your stock back. There's another big problem we have with the invasion of lionfish, which is taking over the fisheries, which has detrimental effects on marine life. It eats juvenile fish. And again, for example, I don't know of any predator right now who's going to take care of the
Well,
lionfish.
man now is a predator.
No, yes, that is what.
So, yeah,
I
you
think
have to
because I was
harvest
told,
and
I was told that
eat.
some of the hotels are buying it.
Yes, correct.
So that is why we are trying to put a project together with the help of some technocrats from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries Division, so that you could put up a project and give pots to some fishermen to try and reduce. We're not going to eliminate lionfish, but we're trying to reduce it so that our local fisheries could come back again. And that same lionfish that we're going to catch, we're organizing a super Saturday.
Great.
At the end of March, I think we are supposed to have that.
Wow.
We're going to prepare these fishes and other fishes for the public
Yes.
to come in and to use it.
Definitely,
Yeah.
very good, very good. But on the question of the payment on time, which is a crucial situation, I know Labrie was facing the same problem, but the Labrie
Credit Union
came on board.
Yeah.
In fact, they just formed a nice little umbrella body down there,
yeah.
and the Labrie Credit Union will meet the payments.
Well, with Soufre, it is the majority of fishermen sold to the hotels and to the housewives go on the urban areas and sell. It's not the fisheries, fishing marketing corporation which is owing us. Things are just bad because of the last 3 years reduced in the amount of fish they used to take. I don't know, this year there might be a change because we saw a change in flying fish for the first 2 months of this year, hoping that it's going to change. But fishing is very expensive, and to be going out and not catching nothing, and it's not an easy.
With the Department of Cooperatives have now come back on board, all right, and I think they have had some meetings, and they're trying to train the managers of those fisher folks. How do you see that strengthening your?
I think these are very important conferences, because the first one was done in Soufre. That was last month, and we just had one today in Castries. And every month we're going to have different conferences in different areas of the country in trying to get on board, building capacity, training. For example, we had a presentation today by Mr. Lynch of the Castries Fisherman's Cup, and it was a very nice presentation. So in other areas, there's a need for presentation from other people, because we need to put our house in order to be successful.
Mr. Maldoum, in terms of, I don't know whether Grosley faces that same problem in terms of, the management of your finances, and of course, the corporates lose money, people, embezzle money and they disappear. I mean, how is this, working out with you all?
Operating a business that is run by a board of directors, our position, apart perhaps from Mr. Alexis, are voluntary positions, and we do have what is called executive meeting, board meeting, and to shape policies.
I'm a paid manager.
You're paid manager.
Yeah.
42 years service. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're going to experience a lot of these challenges in terms of how you do your books, what sort of programs that you have to monitor your sales and purchases and stuff like this. We had tremendous problem with regards to our receivable when I assumed the position of president some 3 years ago. Our receivable was in excess of $150,000, and you could well appreciate for a small cooperative that is a huge amount. Part of it was a huge amount owed to us by a major hotel chain. We were able to enter negotiation with them, and I am quite happy to inform you that they have settled their account, and they currently are servicing the account
on a regular basis.
Okay. The other 2 properties, one of them has settled. There's only one that is still outstanding. There's a dispute as to the exact amount. Some of our members...
Well, hold that thought, we are due for a break. We are due for a break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned.
Our agriculture can be threatened when persons or travelers bring with them foreign plants or animals into our country. Please check with the Crop Protection Unit at telephone number 468-5601 or 450-2375, or the Veterinary Services Division at 468-5621, who will advise you as to what is allowed into the country.
Welcome back to the program. Mr. Lawrence, Are you facing that same problem in shall I say, concerning late payments for sales?
Yes, this is a problem we have with members, and trying to see how best we can get over that.
But have you all decided what move? I mean, with the coming on board of the cooperative Department of Cooperatives, you figure that they can give you all some assistance in that regard?
I believe we can get some assistance, but it has to do with a lot with the training the member, getting the members to understand that it is a togetherness and not a person single business going on. It is togetherness. One help the other, and the money must come in for us to purchase our fuel and whatnot for them to use.
So for the way forward now, I mean, gentlemen, I mean, I know it's with the Department of Fisheries on board, Department of Cooperatives on board now, with all the training that will be happening. How, for example, does the Department of Fisheries assist you all in the way forward in managing your affairs?
Well, training, new techniques. For example, we had the diamond squid fishing in Soufrière. That was a new technique that was introduced. Okay. We have the FAD, and it's been donated by the Japanese through the Department of Cooperatives.
Do you have sufficient FADs in Soufrière?
Well, there's not. For example, Soufrière has a lot of traffic on the western side. So the life of the FAD is very short on that side. In areas like Miku Denre, there's not that much of that amount of traffic, so a FAD will last much longer in these areas. But Soufrière, the amount of yachts, cargo boat, cruise ship, which is passing, sometimes the FAD lasts just for about a year, and it's expensive to put a FAD, $6,000-7,000 for one FAD.
In the way forward in terms of training and getting young persons on board, how do you see that, Mr. Lawrence?
We are trying to get this on, the question of having young people to make an interest, make it interesting for them to get a means of livelihood, and to assist in the economic status of this country. But then it does not seem that they want to get on board that way.
But what do you think is the problem?
What I think is the problem is it's an inward feeling. Some people seem to think that it is down the line. It does not give you that upward, what we call greed and whatnot.
Status.
Status.
That is actually changing. When you look at the fishing industry, from where it was years ago and what it is today, the status of a fisherman is quite high in terms of the economic ladder in St. Lucia. What needs to happen is that as we progress, there needs to be more new technology in the industry, and it's time for both the Department of Fisheries and the different cooperatives, including the fisher folks and the members of the fisheries cooperative, to begin to come together and look at changing the vessels that we use. It's no longer economically feasible for us to operate in the manner that we operate, especially if you're doing deep sea fishing, you're going for pelagics, etc. The amount of fuel that our brother from Soufrière spoke of, if you lose one batch of fuel for the day and you landed no fish, you would be indebted by over $1,000. It would be better if we would understand that the fishery sector needs to look at new technology and new method of fishing. So rather than going out there and spending 8 hours a day trawling and looking for fish, burning $1,000 odd of fuel, in some cases $1,500 worth of fuel, coming back with 100 pounds of fish, which only gives you $600. It would be better to get a better craft, go out there and spend 6-7 days and come back.
What's preventing that from happening? What's preventing from getting a better craft?
I went to Cunama in 2004, and I saw an ad on television where the Grenadians are going out there practicing long line. You don't have to go and search for the fish. You go at a special area, you set your long lines, and the amount of tuna they're catching, 100-pound tuna, 120 pounds tuna, and they have a market for that.
There's already a market for
There's a market for that. So I was able to talk to a lady by the name of Eusebe A, from the GCFI,
Yes.
and she offered me about $18,000 to organize an exchange program. So when I came back, I sent 3 fishermen, 3 young guys to Grenada and get that training so that when they come back, so that they could up their boats, get in a pirogue, and maybe doing that same tuna longline fishing. Because that is, I think, you're not going to burn the amount of petrol like go and chase after dolphin close to the coast of Barbados. You're being arrested, leaving St. Vincent, going right up north. So that, I think that would be an area we have to work on, so that we could set long lines. You stay there, you set the long lines, you catch the tuna. There's a lot of tourism coming to St. Louis, that the hotels did the tuna. So I think that's one of the ways to go.
But there's another, the question of longline fishing in terms of going out there for at least a week. I mean, is that feasible? I mean,
Well, it's according to the boats.
Can you get, a loan from one of the institutions to finance
These are the things that need to be
okay.
put in place to help the fishers and to perhaps force them to go in this direction. Changes, especially in this particular sector, is always a difficult challenge. You're always going to have people who are accustomed of doing a particular thing in a particular way.
Yes, yes.
To move to a different level is always going to be a challenge. But I think if we have the support from the various governmental departments, including the drive coming out from us within the cooperative sector, we should be able to get it on board. I think the time has come for us to look at this, because like I said currently, the amount of fuel that a fisherman consume for the year is ridiculous. When you look at a fisherman perhaps landing worth $250,000 worth of fish. Let's put it this way. In order for him to do that, he would be spending over $120,000 or $125,000. So he spent half.
It's a loss all the time.
Even more than that, because there's the capacity of the boat as well. You need to look at, when you go out to sea, you're carrying what they describe as bags, 4, 5, 6 bags of fuel, each of them worth $250. The boat, it is very difficult for you to catch 1,000 pounds of fish for the day. What would make your worth for the day is if every day you can land 1,000 pounds of fish. That would give you $6,000. You can pay your fuel and then pay your anglers, etc. But it does not work that way. So you go out to sea 5 days for the week. Say, for example, 5 days for the week, and your average spending on fuel is $5,000, and you may end up, if you have a good weekend, with $8,000 worth of catch.
For example, we have had training on a bigger boat in long lining. There's a gentleman, a Taiwanese gentleman, who was in St. Lucia, based in Soufrière, and he did that training. And the guys would go out, spend the night on the sea, and come back the following, with sometimes coming back with 12, 15, 100 pounds tuna.
Yes.
That is where the money is. I might understand
I'll have to stop you there, because we have reached the end of the program. It's not fast, just go like,
But we haven't said anything yet.
So I was going to come back again for us to,
Yeah, because I wanted to highlight, there's a
two.
gentleman with a fishing boat on the wharf, and he cannot get a waiver of the duty to bring that fisherman boat.
Okay. We'll come back again. We'll come back again, right? So I just want to thank you all for coming for this part 1 of the program, and I hope everything goes well, especially with the Department of Cooperatives coming on board. I think it's the way forward. So people, I just want to thank you the viewers, for watching the program. Continue to do that. We are going to be there every week to bring you and to update you on what's happening in the Department of Fisheries, in the Department of Agriculture, and of course, cooperatives have come on board. So until then, I am Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again.
Okay.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.